Which reel mower is perfect for you? I've gotten that question from you guys several times in the live streams and other videos, so I figured today I would break out all three of them, talk about the pros and cons of each, and you can decide for yourself. Because I don't think there really is a perfect reel mower. It's really, based on your needs, your budget, what you're trying to accomplish, how much time you have, which one is the best one for you to go with. So we have all three of them here. We got the catchers, we got the accoutrement that go with some of the mowers, and we'll talk through each of them. So for any of you that are not familiar, the first up is the Toro Greensmaster. This is a greens mower. It's designed for cutting tees, collars. I guess you could cut a small fairway with it on golf courses, and it's designed for golf course use. This is a commercial mower designed for golf courses. Next up, you have the Reel Rollers Revolution 26. This is a new entry into the market. This was created by the folks at Reel Rollers, and the idea behind this is that it's supposed to meld the differences between, or the gap rather, between a commercial greens mower, like a Greensmaster, and a more consumer-based reel mower that's gas powered. So it has a lot of the features that these guys have, a lot of the benefits, at a much more attractive price. And then finally, we have the Allett C27 Evolution. This is the only battery powered mower of the three that you see I've lined up here. So we'll talk through each of them, and again, I'll give you guys the benefits. This thing is like a Swiss Army knife as far as taking care of turf grass, because it does a lot more than just mow. So let's start with the pros and cons of each. Starting with the Toro Greensmaster. So the thing I would say about the Greensmaster compared to the other two is that if all you care about, like your only criteria is you want the absolute best cut quality, that's all you care about, you care about the king of cut, then it's hard to pass up this mower. Mine is decked out with a 11 blade reel. It's a 26-inch width of cut. And just because of the way the mower's set up, if you look at it, I'll get these out of the way, I'll come over on this side, you can actually see the wheelbase, or the distance between the rear drum, which moves the mower, and the front roller is pretty narrow. So the mower follows crest really well, it doesn't scalp well, and because of the way that it's set up, it holds a setting as far as your height of cut really well. So when it comes to changing the height of cut on a Greensmaster, it's a bit of an event. You actually have to loosen a lock nut on this side, and there's another one on the other side, and then you have what essentially are jack screws on each side of the mower, and then based on that, you can raise or lower the height of cut. You need an AccuGauge or a bar and screw to be able to set that, but then once you set it, you lock it in, and it's gonna stay there. It's not gonna move at all. So for some people, that's really attractive, because really the height of cut just never moves unless you actually move it. So it's a great way for dialing things in perfectly. Now, the negatives to this mower, as far as if all you care about is cut quality, then this is, in my opinion, this is the guy to get, right? But some of the downsides are, because this is designed as a greens mower, it's designed for commercial use, moving it around on a residential property isn't the easiest. So whereas these guys have like rubberized drums and they're easy to run on pavement, this one, you see I've got the two drive wheels out here. Now, there are some people that run these on concrete all the time, but really, Toro included the drive wheels for it for a reason. So if you're gonna move this, you would flip the mower up using the little kickstand there, drop each one of the wheels on, one on each side, and then you can move it around. So not strictly necessary, but that's just something to keep in mind if you are moving the mower often over hard surfaces. It's just designed to be used that way. So something else to consider, just more of an event. So the negatives for the Greensmaster are moving it is more involved, changing the height of cut is more involved, because you need an AccuGauge, you need an actual tool or a bar and plate to do it, and it's just more of an event to do that properly compared to these other guys. So next, let's move on to the Revolution. This is also a 26-inch width of cut. Again, a newer mower offering. As far as cut quality, this guy's is actually really good. It punches well above its weight given what you pay. So this is, I believe this is a 6-blade reel is what is in the Revolution. And even though you think that the 11 blade, there'd be a huge difference between these two, while this does cut better, there's not a ton in it. I've actually got a video that I'll put a card up here on the screen where you guys can actually see me cutting my back lawn with this, and then I transition over to this, and there's just really not a ton of difference, honestly. I mean, I can see it if you're sitting there looking really closely at it, but there's not a night difference between the two. As far as propulsion system, You got a rear drum, much like the Greensmaster, so they're all the same. So aluminum drum, rubberized rear drum. And the nice thing about this is that this mower climbs better than this guy does. So if you're have any kind of a slope in on your property, this is a better choice because it just bites in and just climbs a whole lot better. What else can I tell you? The nice thing, another nice feature of the Revolution is with the Toro, the drive system, meaning the ability to move the mower forward, the propulsion system, and the reel are linked, meaning you can't have the reel turning, just freewheeling, and the mower not moving. Like it's set up such that whenever you drop, I guess it's like the clutch that's on here, with the mower running, I'd be able to show you, but you drop the clutch, what happens when you do that is the reel starts spinning and the mower begins going forward. You can't just have the mower, the reel freewheeling and just moving the mower without the propulsion system engaged. It's a thing with the greens mower, and it produces a better cut for that reason because the speed at which you're moving forward and the clip rate are linked, like they're hard locked. So a benefit. That said, a nice cool thing about the Revolution is that you can engage the reel, right? So like if I were running, the reel would be spinning and the mower would be sitting still. The nice thing about that is whenever you're mowing around areas like the rocks out there, like around like tight areas, and you just want to kind of like treat the mower like a push mower and be able to move around tight spaces, it's way easier, very convenient to have that feature. So as far as something that's in my opinion, better for use on residential lawns, that's a cool feature that the Revolution has that that this one does not. Engine-wise, they both got great engines. The Greensmaster is quieter than the Honda GX. So between them, there's a big difference in sound. I can start up and let you guys hear the difference. So we'll do this. Actually, I can do that real quick. So to fire up the Greensmaster, you turn the ignition on, hit the choke, and all right. So there it is. It's idling. And again, that's pretty pleasant, right? Because again, this thing's designed to run early in the mornings on golf courses, and there's sometimes people with nice homes around, they don't want a bunch of noise. So it's a quieter mower, even if we throttle it up. So that's full throttle. Not bad, right? Not bad. So now we'll come over to the Revolution, and being a GX, we're just gonna turn on the ignition, hit the choke, reel is disengaged, and so you can see even idling quite a bit louder. And again, this is not something that's particular to the mower, that's just the GX engine. If I throttle it all the way up, from a noise standpoint, you see pretty big difference, right? So much louder, again, much louder than that. And again, that's really just the engine that's being used. I mean, this thing's like a tank, but it's gonna be a louder mower than the Greensmaster. Next, we come over to the Allett C27 Evolution. So this is the only battery-powered mower out of the setup. And to call this or to review this only as a mower, in my opinion, is really unfair in the sense that the C27 is like a Swiss Army knife. It's a cultivation system. So while you can cut grass with it, and it does do an excellent job cutting, I believe it's an 8-blade reel that's on here. The thing with the Allett is that you can swap the cartridge. It's got an interchangeable system like what we see I've got out here. So I'll talk about each of these in here in a second. But as far as a mower to use that's quiet, that there really is no sound when you're using it, this is a great choice. Adjusting the height of cut, we didn't talk about that on the Revolution, but I'll show you really quick. Adjusting the height of cut, there are 2 knobs on each side, and apologies for this being dirty because I actually use these, I don't, baby them. So you can adjust the right and left side individually. So one click, I believe that's 2/10 of, I think it's 0.2 millimeters is what that does. So you can adjust each side individually, check it with a bar and screw or with an AccuGauge and get, both sides for the most part fairly dialed in. With adjusting the height of cut on the Revolution, it's a single screw here, and they integrate a height of cut gauge here to kind of give you an idea of how high or low you are set or you're cutting. So convenience, one knob, and you're set. This guy, 2 knobs, 1 on each side, but that also allows you to perfectly dial in make sure that's cutting the same amount on each side. Of the 3, the Greensmaster allows you to get the most precise because there's not really any detents. It's like a jack screw, and you can literally go in as small increments as you want as far as balancing the cut from right to left. This guy, there's a single screw that kind of moves the entire thing in unison. And this guy, there are detents or notches where you can raise or lower each side, independently of the other. So there you go. As you can tell from the size, this guy by far is the largest. It's the biggest of the 3 mowers. As far as power system, it is run by the Greenswork commercial system, so it's an 82-volt system. It takes 3 of these commercial batteries to run it. As far as starting it up, hang on, wait for it. Start the engine up. There you go. So it's running, and you don't hear anything, right? Because it's battery powered. Super quiet. Now, the benefit of this guy over the other 2, and again, why it's not really fair to have it in this, is the fact that you can swap these cartridges out. So in here, I've got the 8-blade reel, which again cuts great, and then you've got the other parts that allow you to really, do a lot of things with the turf that really allow it to look its absolute best. So you've got a turf rake, which is great for cleaning debris out of the lawn. You have a hollow tine aerator, what they call it a sorrel roller. This is for, again, just doing light aeration. It doesn't remove cores, but it does, punch holes in the soil if you want to get water, nutrient down the soil. It's a good tool to have. And then finally, probably my favorite cartridge is this guy. This is the Verticutter. This bad boy allows you to gently thin out the turf. So whenever you mow Bermuda grass with any of these guys for a period of time, by the time you get into like late spring, early summer, the lawn's gonna really start thickening up, and you'll start having scalping and cutting issues in places where you didn't have it before. And that's mainly because the mower begins to float a bit on the turf instead of like really riding on the soil and the height of cut remaining true. A Verticutter allows you to correct that. So you can gently remove, the debris that's in the lawn, gently cut any long runners. It gently thins out the turf and allows the mower to cut better. It also causes the lawn to thicken up because all those, when you're cutting the mile slits in the lawn, it also encourages new growth. So again, of the 3, if I could only have one, probably even more so than the cutting cartridge, if I could only have one of these, it would probably be the Verticutter. Because I already have other mowers I could use, but the Allett is the only one that can do that. All right, coming over to grass catchers, and then we'll talk about pricing, which is the thing that you guys probably also care about. Grass catchers on all 3 of them are adequate. Greensmaster has the smallest one. And for a while, I used to ask myself, why did Toro not put a bigger one on here? Like, you look what the Railroad Revolution has, big size grass catcher. The Allett, also a large one. But the Toro, they put this small itty bitty one on here. Like, why? Why do you guys do that? And you know what? As you cut more and more and more, and you get to see the pros and cons of these, there's actually a lot of logic in why you'd want a smaller one. See, as that gets filled up with grass, you're putting basically a big weight on the front of the mower. And if you're allowed to put too much debris in it, it will change the height of cut. So while these guys are both larger and they really can hold a lot of clippings, a lot of debris, I never fill them all the way up. Really, with the Allett or the Revolution, once I get to where like this is covered in the Allett or in the Revolution, I'll empty it out. And then with the Allett, I just kind of eyeball it when it gets about halfway, not even halfway, maybe a third full, I'll empty it. Because again, having a grass catcher full of debris it can change the height of cut because you're literally hanging it off the front of the mower, right? So it can help bring the height of cut down. A cool thing about the Allett in particular is whereas you can verticut, you can turf rake using, say, like a Sunjoe or other pieces of equipment. With those, all the trash for the most part ends up on the lawn, and then you got to go clean it up. Because you have this large grass catcher, the one time that's really handy, not so much for mowing, but what's really handy is whenever you're verticutting or turf raking, because it can hold a lot of debris, where you don't really care about the height that the machine is moving too much. You just want to be able to capture all of it. So that's a one big benefit there. Finally, pricing. Let's talk about the cost of each one of these guys. So The Greensmaster, we'll talk about brand new, and then we'll talk about what you can actually get them for. So brand new, the Greensmaster, when I looked at it a couple of years ago, I was quoted like 16 grand for one of these guys brand new. Now, having said that, you can find these all over the place pre-owned that are in great shape. I mean, golf courses lease them quite a bit, so you can find them with relatively low hours. And you know, again, it's a commercial mower, so you're not going to hurt it. I mean, it'll run and run and run, and there's not really any concern with buying a pre-owned one. So I'd say price-wise, if you're finding one in great shape, expect to pay 3 grand. I mean, one say with like 500 hours or less, and in, you know, the reel and bed knife are in good shape, no, you know, no damage or anything like that, you're at 3 grand. Like when I bought this one, it was $3,500, I believe, and it had just under 200 hours. So practically, for a greens mower, practically a new mower. And then next up, you got the Revolution 26. This guy is newly released. There's not a whole lot of these pre-owned as yet. And last time I checked, the price on this is $2,800. So, and that's brand new. So given what you pay, like this is great, like an excellent, excellent value for money. Now, if you were comparing it to other mowers in its class, like say the True Cut, I mean, I think the True Cuts now, if you can even find them, they're well over 3 grand. They're more like $3,500. And I owned a True Cut. I had a C25, and this mower is better than it in every way, like literally every way. This is a better mower than the True Cut. It cuts better, climbs better. It's just a better mower. It's easier to backlap, easier to maintain than the True Cut. So overall, there's no scenario where I would use a True Cut over this. And then finally, so as far as price wise, we said 3 grand, right? So here, 16 grand, so it's brand new. This one, 3 grand, brand new. But realistically, you can find these for under $3,500 used. Now, the Allett C27. This is an excellent mower if you absolutely have to have, if you have a big property that you need to take care of, and also you hate money. Because one of these guys, like brand new, the last time I looked when I was on their website this morning before doing this video, it goes for like $19,300, and that is without any of this stuff. So it doesn't even come with the cutting cartridge for that. So for 19 grand, 19,300, you get the mower and you get the grass catcher. That's it. Each one of these cartridges range in price from $2,000 to $3,000. The verticutting cartridge is, I believe, the most expensive at almost 4 grand, I think, at the current price. So again, all in, you're looking, I don't know, $30,000. And oh, and it doesn't come with batteries either. So you figure 19 grand for the mower, you know, 2 to 3 grand, 4 grand, 2 grand, 2 grand. And then the batteries that this thing takes are each $500. So each one of these guys, last I checked, are 500 bucks. And if you want to be able to run the mower continuously, you need 2 sets. So you figure you've got $3,000 in batteries, another couple $100 in chargers. So again, it's a more expensive system to run. It's like, again, easily what you see here, if you had to buy it today, is going to cost you 30 grand, thereabouts, probably a little bit more. So, so yeah, great choice if you got a big property and you hate money. Awesome. So of the 3, which would I get, right? Which would I have if I had to, if I could have 2 of the 3, right? And depending on what your goals are, right? It's really hard to not have the Allett because it does everything. It doesn't cut as well as this mower, but as far as a mower that kind of does a bit of everything, I mean, this one is kind of hard to pass up. If all I cared about is cut quality, then, that's the only criteria, then the Greensmaster. And then if you want the best all-around mower from a cutting only standpoint, in other words, if you're looking at these 2 guys, from a best overall, easier to use, less space to store, if it breaks, less expensive to fix, then the Revolution is really worth looking at. I have the Allett out here just because you guys would want to see and be like, hey, how come you didn't include the Allett? But it's really not really fair to put this in the same class as these guys, because this is really more of a system. It's designed for really cutting sports fields, like soccer pitches, big properties. It's not really a residential mower, and the price kind of reflects that. So hope that, guys, helps you guys out as far as everything I can think of that you would probably care about. As far as these 3, they're all awesome. You can get a great result with any of them. And yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Happy to do that. Happy to answer. And hope you guys have an amazing weekend. We'll see you guys next time.